Hello everybody, and this is the small video on the gauge swatches. I've actually used the olive colour in the Stylecraft light that's to be used in the Carl, so sorry if it's a bit dark, but I'll do my best. This swatch here is done with a 4mm hook as suggested. I did 28 stitches across and then proceeded to do 26 rows, so I had plenty of a big enough swatch to mark out the actual square itself. So then I got my fancy little needles here and counted 20 stitches across and 22 rows up, and as you can see it does make a nice square. But if I get my ruler, which I have marked where the 0 and the 10 is, you will see that my particular tension square is slightly short of 10 centimeters across and is short the other way too. And this is not a shock to me, to be fair. My tension tends to be quite tight, and therefore I did a swatch in a 4.5mm hook to see the difference. So I'll just remove that one for you. So with this particular swatch I did 24 stitches across and 26 rows again, so I had enough space to mark out the actual gauge swatch itself. And this one, I don't know if you can see particularly clearly, it's still not quite 10 centimeters up, but it's definitely slightly over across. And I also have to say that these swatches have not been blocked in any way, but because I know my tension is quite tight, I think I will plumb for the 4.5mm hook to ensure that my blanket comes out more or less the size that is stipulated in the pattern itself. So that there is a slight, there's about 0.5 centimeters different almost between the 4mm hook and the 4.5mm hook. I then proceeded to do the same with the treble swatch, and this one's done in the 3.5 hook as suggested. I did 24 stitches across and 12 rows, and that gave me enough to mark out again the square in the treble where I've got a pin missing. There it is. So I just mark it across. Again, these haven't been blocked, so bear in mind that can make a difference as well. But if I use my ruler here, again that's about 1 centimeter short in height, and this one, it's almost bang on in width. So it's a bit of a call to yourself. I did do a swatch in the 4mm hook, which I'll just get now. Again, I've got a pin missing. I'll just put the pin in so you can see. So you can see you can see the difference between 0.5 millimeter in the hook. Now this is considerably more than 10 centimeters wide and is bang on in height. So where there's a 3.5mm hook, I will probably use that rather than going up a 1/2 size, but I still think for anything with double crochet I'll use a 4.5mm hook. The only thing I can say about gauge is that if your tension is considerably different one way or another, just bear in mind that this can affect the amount of yarn you need to use for the project itself. So if you've got a considerably looser gauge and you choose not to change down in hook, you may find that you'll need more yarn than is suggested in the pattern. And if it's the other way around and your gauge is extremely tight, you will find that your pieces will be smaller than the suggested size and you won't need as much yarn. So I know a lot of people out there are just going with the flow and using the hooks that are suggested, and that's fine, that's their choice, they're able to do that. I personally would like to know that my blanket's going to turn out more or less the same size as the pattern itself, and therefore hopefully won't either run out of yarn or have a mass surplus of yarn. So I know the pictures aren't particularly clear, but it is worth doing a swatch, because 0.5 millimeter in a hook can actually make quite a big difference in your piece of work. So I hope that was helpful. If you want me to do some more on this, please just give me a shout and I'll see what I can do. I appreciate that these particular swatches are very dark, but I wanted to use the actual yarn that was going to be used within the project, and this was the only colour I had to hand in my stash. So I hope it allowed you to see the slight differences, but as I said, remember, these aren't blocked, and blocking your items will make a difference. And if you want me to do a video on blocking further along in the crochet along, then I will cover that later on in the next few months or so. But just that was all I had to say about gauge. So I hope that was helpful. Happy hooking, people, and I'll see you soon.